Hello to all YouTubers and welcome back to part 2 of the Aqueon ProFlex Sump Refugium review. And I've since set it up since review number 1. For those of you who are just watching this video for the first time, go check out part 1 of the review. And you know, I've got some really good compliments about the overall unit, as well as I have some complaints. Not so much of the design, and there is one flaw in the design that I'm actually going to discuss here. And we're going to talk about the pros and cons and stuff like that. You know, I've been through so many different types of sumps and refugiums, and I've built quite a few myself. But this one, hands down, captivated me and definitely caught my attention, and I'm really glad that I got it in the first place. Now, we're going to talk about a little, we're going to go straight into how I've set it up. Now, it's running in fresh water, and for that reason, the skimmer is not going to be functioning, but I just wanted everything to be running. And the first thing I want to talk about it is that it is really quiet. You know, that's a major plus here. And we're going to get closer here. And so I'm going to quickly talk about some things that I did, some changes. Let's start up here. Now, I've since plumbed it to the 90-gallon system, and I'm waiting for the new stand to arrive, which the owner has not given me a specific date as to when it's going to arrive. He did say last week that it was going to come this week, but he said he was going to call me today, and I'm giving him up till 9 o'clock when they close. I'll probably call him around 8:30, and I just got home. So this is the way that I set it up last night. I haven't even slept. I mean, I messed around with this thing. I switched things around, and I'm also going to discuss a little bit about some of the changes that I might do to it, and you know, so we're going to get into that. So the drain hoses here. The great thing about this particular one is that my 90-gallon system has 2 drains and 2 returns. One of the only 90-gallon systems that have that. And so for that reason, I got the 36-inch model here, and this is the Model 4. And it should fit perfectly because it's actually 36 inches by 14 inches, and with the new stand, it's gonna fit rather perfectly. And so the drains come into these 2 inlet pipes here, which is a great feature. Now, this whole first stage here is just awesome. You know, it's 8 inches wide and contains 3 filter socks. And if you get the smaller versions, model 1, 2, or 3, you know, keep in mind that if you're really considering about getting it, you know, they come in different sizes, but for whatever reason, Model 2 has a bigger refugium area than that of Model 3, yet Model 3 is wider. It's 14 inches, so you really want to take a look at some of the different sizes that they have here before you make a decision if you ever decide that you want to get this particular sump. So really cool design here on the first stage. The fact that it has these 2-cylinder acrylic diffusers here will prevent some of the micro bubbles from making it back into the second stage, and that is a major plus here, because I've actually had a major problem with that when I had the way I had it set up on my do-it-yourself sump refugium. There was a constant water splashing and bubbles going up, and it actually made quite a bit of noise. But this one, with this design, is really silent. You know, it contains 3 different 3 filter bags here, and I'm going to remove the top here just to quickly show you the top area of it. You know, I know I did this in part 1, but I really want to cover some stuff in detail. And so the water comes into the stage here, drains down into the cylinder here, and all of the water must travel back up around the outer diameter of the cylinder and actually comes into this little drip tray area up here, where it has 3 filter bags. Now, it's an awesome design, and I may actually run it without the filter bags. it is possible for you to do that. And for reef systems, it's actually recommended that you, not go with the filter bags because they actually get, rather clogged up easily. However, I may actually run it with the filter bags and get another set of filter bags and just swap them out every couple of days, and soak them in a 1 part bleach, 10 part water in a bucket, and just kind of clean them out and switch them out, on a regular basis. So it's a really awesome design, this first stage here. And what I really like about it here is the amount of space that's in this area. And I really want to touch up on that because from the bottom of the refugium of the entire sump all the way up to the top of the cylinder here is a space, I would say around 5 inches, 4.5 inches, 5 inches. And you can actually add Miracle Mud to this area if you really wanted to, and it would actually benefit you in a way that it'll keep the detritus from accumulating itself here. If you don't have a deep sand bed or Miracle Mud or whatever kind of substrate you decide to use, even with the filter bags, you will accumulate detritus in this area, and it'll constantly require you to be siphoning that out. Now, you can also go bare bottom here on this area and just add a power head, which will keep the detritus suspended and rather send it floating over to the second stage here, which is the refugium area. Now, I don't know exactly which way I'm gonna go. Chances are I may add either a deep sand bed on this area here alone, just to make sure that I have lots of, biodiversity and little critters here that will keep the detritus out of this area here and consume it. And on this area, I may add some Miracle Mud or vice versa here. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Baffle wall here, which allows you to convert this into either a wet-dry refugium or not refugium. It'll allow you to convert this into a wet-dry, a Berlin system, which allows you to have a protein skimmer with just live rock, or the hybrid system, which is the way I'm going to run it, which is going to be live rock, a large protein skimmer, and a refugium. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to slide this wall up here, and we're gonna talk about the wall up here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the changes that I had to do to this light up here as well. Camera's just having some trouble focusing, so bear with me. And so I'm just going to slide this over to this side, just so I can put my hand in here and lower this baffle here. Now, this baffle here allows you to keep water, the agitation of the water on the surface of the refugium. You can bring it down, and in my case, I may actually keep it all the way down. Let's see if I can just stick my hand in here and rather slide this thing down. And there it is. It actually slides down, and this brings me to one of the things that I don't like. Not that I don't like it. It's a really good design, but the instructions were rather missing some information. And we're going to cover two things that I did not like about the instruction manual and the information that came in the instruction manual. Number one, this this wall here, which is adjustable here, there's no indication or instructions in the instruction manual that tell you that the water pressure is what's going to keep that wall attached to this section here, this divider. And so, some people online, I noticed, I went through different forums and was just looking around, and some people actually discussed the fact that they just had no idea how to keep that wall up, because there's no way to keep it up. It's very simple. All you got to do is just raise it up and let the water go up here on this stage, and once the water goes up here, it'll keep the wall with the pressure sort of suspended. And you know, that's one of the things I did not like about the instructions. Nowhere in the instruction manual does it say that. I had to figure that out by myself. So Aqueon, if you're listening to this, take some notes. Do some changes to your instruction manual, and make sure that you tell people that the water is, the pressure of the water is what's going to keep this divider and adjustable wall standing up. Now, another thing that they failed to tell you, and I picked that up recently, was that here where you've got the inlet pipe, this part here screws into the bottom part, and they don't tell, and I know that it's common sense, and you know you should use Teflon tape, but they don't tell you this. They actually have some videos made by the company instructing you how to set up the refugium, and all they do is just tell you to screw it on. No, don't do that, because this thing will leak, despite the fact that it contains a O-ring here, which is made out of rubber. You know, it's called a gasket, and it's supposed to prevent it from leaking. But no matter how much you tighten this up, if you do not use Teflon tape, you know, in the barbed area, you're gonna have a problem. This thing is gonna be leaking on you. And so they did not state that in the instructions as well. And I think that you know, of course it's common sense to do that and to use that, but you definitely want to put that into the instructional manual. You know, some people may actually not know that you need to use Teflon tape. And so we're moving on to the refugium area, which is actually quite awesome. You know, you can actually keep the wall down, and I may actually completely remove the wall, the adjustable wall, so that some light can penetrate up here. Now up here, and we're sliding this back over to the other side, up here is my light, which is made by Lights of America. And if you really want to get a nice strong light, this one offers 65 watts, and it'll actually fit perfectly up here and allow you. However, here's the light, and I actually did have to remove the bottom clear base of this light fixture in order for me to install it, because it does come rather bulky, and it'll disperse light all over the place. But if you remove that and just leave it as is here, let me see if I can show you here. There is nothing but just a bulb there, and there's a piece of acrylic there, which will work rather fine to be able to light your refugium here. And so another great feature about the overall Sump refugium design is that, you know, the first stage and you know, the refugium stage are going to be covered here. And there's one piece here that goes up here, and it'll actually cover it quite well, and I showed that in video number 1. So awesome design, first stage, second stage. If I don't decide that I want to put some Miracle Mud or whatever, I may actually use the pump of the Skimmer, which is located here, and we're gonna really get into the last stage. For the time being, I've actually set it up the way that Aqueon recommends. However, it is recommended that if you really want your skimmer to be efficient, you know, to draw in water from the first stage, which is the dirtiest water, before it actually passes through the refugium. But either way that you decide to go, it's still going to work for you, and as long as it's being filtered by both the refugium area, the chaetomorpha, and that of the skimmer pump, you know, you're on the right track. So really nice large area here, which is actually 10 inches by 14 inches. Great feature. Considering that in my do-it-yourself sump refugium I had my skimmer on top of the sand bed, and that may create dead spots, you know, under the skimmer where the sand bed is. You want to make sure that everything is actually free. And if I go with Miracle Mud, it'll be probably 2 inches of the Miracle Mud, and this whole area here will allow me to have lots of chaetomorpha. And so another feature that I really like about the overall design is that it allows you to have the skimmer here at its recommended level. And this is very important, because the majority of sump refugiums out there require you to lift your skimmer up off the ground a couple of inches so that it can be so that the output of the skimmer will be above the water level. In this case, the design allows the refugium to baffle over, billow over to this stage here, and this stage here will actually contain enough of a water height to be able to for you to have your skimmer situated on the ground level. Very important feature, you know, and awesome for this design here. And so I've actually set up the refugium here with the pump pulling in water from the end over here, and here is the return pump, and we're going to get into that as well. So you know, another great feature about the overall unit is that it has an open area here, which allows you to place the output of the skimmer so as for you to be able to disperse that output water into this bubble diffuser area here. And that's exactly what I've done with the skimmer here. I've plumbed it in this manner. I may change it around. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that, but the water drops down into this area here and must travel down into the foam pad here, and that eventually gets dispersed into this area here via these three open areas here. And so on this section here on the refugium is a plate that it's removable, and by removing this you can actually turn this refugium into a Berlin system. But we definitely don't want to do that. We want to retain as much water as we can in the refugium area so that it'll work for us as a natural nitrate reductor. And so this design is awesome here, allowing me to keep the skimmer. And this is great for the simple fact that this skimmer here is 26 inches tall. And the majority of stands out there are about 28 inches. Now, the stand that I'm trying to obtain is going to be 34 inches. So, no, I'm sorry, it's going to be 32 inches tall. And so I could have lifted the refugium, but of course that's not needed, and it's an absolute great feature to have. So by having this opened area here, you know, you can actually direct the flow of water coming out of the refugium into the bubble diffuser, and no micro bubbles will make it back into the display. And that's a really good feature. I actually do not have any micro bubbles, and this camera is just really having trouble focusing, but I don't have any micro bubbles in the display. Everything is plumbed. And so here is the last little stage area here, where I've taken the return pump, which is a Mag Drive 18, and plumbed it directly into the chiller, and from the chiller it goes down and around and back up into the main display, and it splits into two via a small Y fitting that I have there, you know, to return it back up into both Ys up here. So overall, the design is awesome. I gotta give it to them. But aside from that, the two negative features that I talked about, which were the instruction manual rather lacks some information, and that's important for us, especially for beginners who are going to try to get this sump. And one last thing that I don't like about the unit is that it's kind of flimsy, you know, considering that it is acrylic here. And we're going to look here, and I'm just going to grab this, and you can kind of move it back and forth, and you know, although it works quite well, it really does. And I'm sure that it is strong enough to support the entire weight of this 40-gallon sump refugium. You know, the fact that it's a little flimsy, you know, that might actually be a little bit of a turn-off. But overall, I'm very happy with the sump refugium. And so this has been review number 2. And if there's anything I missed, you guys can post a comment, question, concerns, or anything below, and I will gladly answer you guys back. And so once I completely fully set it up, when the stand comes here and I add everything, I might do a third and final review. and just show you guys how I decided to plumb this overall system. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed the video. Many more videos to come. Do I recommend the Sump Refugium? Absolutely. Hands down, it's a really great, awesome looking Sump Refugium. Really look into the different sizes, you know, and make sure that you you know, take the correct dimensions inside of your stand to make sure that everything is working properly. And so this is NewyorkSteelo with yet another video review. Hope you've enjoyed it. NewyorkSteelo signing out. Many more videos to come, guys. Peace.